The Roosevelt Corollary. In this lecture, I'm going to address Virginia SOL US.2.5b, again dealing more with the changing role of the United States from the late 19th century through World War I, specifically looking at Teddy Roosevelt's impact on foreign policy for the United States. A couple of essential questions I want you to think about while watching this. First, what were Theodore Roosevelt's foreign policies, and what was Theodore Roosevelt's impact on the foreign policy of the United States? Now, President Theodore Roosevelt believed that the United States should more forcefully assert itself in foreign policy matters. In 1904, he announced what became known as the Roosevelt Corollary, or addition, to the Monroe Doctrine. In it, he warned that in cases of wrongdoing by Latin American countries, the United States might use international police powers. Basically, and it wasn't just limited to them, he basically said that if the United States' economic or political interests were interfered with by other nations, the United States had the right to get involved militarily. When James Monroe issued the Monroe Doctrine, Europe took little notice because the United States lacked the economic and military power to truly enforce it. But once Teddy Roosevelt was in power, the United States could actually forcefully back up its efforts and wield greater influence over the Western Hemisphere. And throughout Roosevelt's presidency, he would actively enforce the corollary, especially with the use of the Navy, from debt collection to really trying to direct how trade occurred in the Americas. Now, events in Colombia in 1903 showed how active Roosevelt was willing to be in Latin America. Roosevelt wanted to build a canal across the narrow territory of northern Colombia. The Colombian government refused to lease the land to the United States. When Roosevelt learned that the people of the region wanted to rebel against Colombian control, he sent a warship to support the rebels. The rebels quickly gained their independence from Colombia, and the new government actually allowed the United States to construct a canal linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. And this allowed the United States to move its navy freely from one ocean to the other, greatly shortening the distance that it would take to go from the East Coast to the West Coast. So in summary, Roosevelt expanded the Monroe Doctrine as a way to prevent European involvement in the affairs of Latin American countries. That's all for this lecture. Watch it again if you need to. Take notes on it if you need to, if you haven't already, and you'll be able to use those on the quick check in class.